The Quiet Watch in Stuttgart. A Stuttgart Super Bowl story. Welcome everyone to our community messaging platform called the OPSEC Minute Extended. Normally, on Mondays, we use this space in both text and posted videos to share both a little OPSEC or Operation Security wisdom along with an occasional Marvel team-up bridge that ties into other regulatory security disciplines and policies that our leadership and the Department of Army embrace. We realize reading a page of dialogue is not everyone's cup of tea. As an alternative, please feel free to share this with your family. You may also subscribe, like, or simply check out the video of this and other OPSEC Minute stories on our YouTube Secure Narratives channel. Just click the link and let it play in the background as you tackle your morning routine and backlog of email. All right, herewith today's secure narrative. Prologue: The Quiet Noise. The first thing Jesse noticed about Stuttgart on Super Bowl weekend wasn't the cold or the gray February sky. It was the sound, not the obvious sounds. Not traffic or boots on concrete or the distant thrum of commuter trains threading through Baden-Württemberg. It was the quiet noise beneath everything else. Lowered voices, phones tilted just a little away from prying eyes. Conversations that stopped when unfamiliar footsteps passed. It was the sound of people who knew deep in their bones that vigilance wasn't loud. Jesse Halvorsen was 29 years old, newly arrived and already learning that United States Army garrison USAG Stuttgart didn't behave like other places she'd worked. The installation felt less like a base and more like a living organism. Offices, chapels, gyms, schools, watch desks, and family housing all connected by invisible threads of trust and responsibility. Her badge still felt stiff on her chest as she crossed Kelley Barracks, coffee steaming in the brittle air. She had been hired as a civilian workforce analyst, data, process improvement, risk awareness, someone who lived in spreadsheets and dashboards. But she had learned quickly that here, numbers were never just numbers. Here, numbers meant people. Inside the Panzer Hotel, televisions were already being tested for Sunday night. Staff argued cheerfully about teams. A Directorate of Family, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation DFMWR employee hung banners with the careful enthusiasm of someone who had decorated dozens of morale events but still believed in them. And somewhere behind closed doors, other people were watching things that never made it onto a screen. Jesse didn't know it yet, but by the time the final whistle blew in Las Vegas, she would understand why OPSEC wasn't a checklist. It was a culture. Act 1. Arrival and Orientation. Jesse's onboarding briefing was scheduled for 0830 hours, a conference room that smelled faintly of coffee and toner. She chose a seat near the middle, close enough to engage, far enough not to draw attention. "Morning, everyone," said Mr. James Brooks as he stepped to the front. Everyone called him JB. JB Brooks didn't look like a man who frightened adversaries. He wore wire-rimmed glasses, a plain jacket, and the kind of calm expression that suggested he listened more than he spoke. But Jesse noticed something immediately. The room oriented toward him. "When people tell you OPSEC is common sense," JB said, folding his hands, "they're half right. The other half is discipline." He let that sit. "I'm the OPSEC officer for USAG Stuttgart. My job isn't to scare you. My job is to help you keep your families, your coworkers, and yourselves safe without you even realizing you're doing it." Jesse scribbled notes. The cadence was familiar, but the tone was different. Less doctrinal, more personal. JB clicked to the next slide. No flashy graphics, just words, patterns, predictability. "Aggregation adversaries don't need secrets," JB continued. "They need habits. If you don't lose OPSEC in one big mistake, you lose it in 100 small ones that feel harmless." A hand went up. "Like social media?" JB smiled faintly. "Especially social media. but also conversations at the gym, kids' soccer schedules, where you park, when you complain about traffic. Jesse felt a chill. She had complained about traffic yesterday. After the briefing, JB introduced her to Mr. Alonzo Edwards, the command security manager. Edwards was built like a linebacker and spoke with precise economy. "Welcome to Stuttgart, Ms. Halvorsen," Edwards said. "You'll be working closely with DPTMs and Directorate of Emergency Services. We expect questions." "We don't expect surprises." "Yes, sir," Jesse replied. Edwards studied her for a beat. "You'll do fine." Praise here, Jesse was learning, was never casual. Act 2. The Network. The garrison commander moved through meetings with quiet authority, listening far more than he spoke. Jesse first saw him during a leadership sync the following afternoon. He sat at the head of the table, flanked by Mr. Robert Gwinner, the deputy to the garrison commander, whose legal mind and institutional memory made him indispensable. "Super Bowl weekend is a stress test," Colonel Sanford said. "Not because of football, but because of distraction." Command Sergeant Major Christopher Melendez nodded. "People relax. That's human. Our job is to make sure relaxation doesn't become complacency." Jesse watched how the room worked, how Captain Boluatif Obem, the HHC commander, spoke briefly but decisively, how Colonel David Curlin, the command chaplain, listened with pastoral attentiveness, already thinking about families and morale. DPTMs filled half the table. Mr. Kyle Corey, the director, leaned forward. Protection posture remains unchanged, but we're watching secondary indicators. Robert Taylor, the protection chief, tapped a folder. "We've noticed an uptick in casual information leakage. Nothing actionable alone, but aggregated." Mr. Luke Fralick, the anti-terrorism officer, finished the thought. "It paints a picture." Sergeant First Class Kaylee Schrader, the ATONCOIC, spoke next. "Most of it's unintentional, spouses coordinating watch parties." Colonel Sanford nodded slowly. "Then our response is education, not alarm." This wasn't paranoia. Act 3. Background noise. By Saturday afternoon, the installation felt warmer emotionally, if not physically. DFMWR Director Joe Johnson walked through the Panzer Fitness Center, joking with patrons. TVs were tuned to pregame coverage. Kids chased each other between tables. The American Red Cross had set up a hydration and snack station. Overseen by Peter Butner and his deputy, Aaron Owsley, who coordinated quietly with dependent spouses. "Watch parties are set," Aaron said. "We've got volunteers rotating." "Good," Peter replied. Eyes open, smiles on. At Directorate of Emergency Services Headquarters, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Jimenez and his deputy, Ed Odalora, reviewed patrol schedules. Eric Frazier, the physical security chief, pointed to a map. "No changes," Jimenez said. "Visibility matters." Elsewhere, in an unmarked office, the Stuttgart Army counterintelligence team watched different screens. Agent Lena Volk had grown up bilingual, her calm demeanor hiding a razor-sharp analytical mind. Her partner, Agent Marcus Reed, former infantry-turned-Army counterintelligence, leaned back in his chair. "Most people think CI is about chasing spies," Reed said. Volk shook her head. "It's about pattern recognition. On one screen, a cluster of public posts, harmless alone. Concerning together, nothing crosses the line," Volk said. "But it's close." Reed nodded. "Let's nudge, not slam." They sent a quiet note to JB. Act 4. The Twist of Familiarity. Jesse was at a watch party when her phone buzzed. "JB, quick question. Did you update the workforce dashboard this morning?" Jesse frowned. "Yes. Why, JB?" "Nothing wrong. Just checking version control." She glanced around. Laughter. plates of wings. The game hadn't started yet. Later, Jesse would replay that moment. Back at headquarters, Directorate of Human Resources Director Dennis Heaney and Resource Management Organization Director Demetrius Gandy reviewed staffing and funding overlays. A minor discrepancy surfaced, nothing alarming, but odd. "It's probably timing," Gandy said. "Probably," Heaney agreed. "But let's verify." Verification revealed the first twist. The data anomaly wasn't malicious. It was automated, a third-party analytics tool, pulling open-source information too efficiently, aggregating without context. OPSEC wasn't being breached. It was being misunderstood by software. JB convened a quick huddle. "This is on us," he said. "We introduced a tool without fully stress testing its aggregation behavior." Colonel Sanford absorbed the update calmly. "Lesson learned without consequence," he said. "That's the best kind." But then came the second twist. Army counterintelligence flagged a separate issue. Someone external had noticed the same patterns. Not an adversary, a journalist, someone curious. Someone well-intentioned. And dangerously close. Act 5. Quiet Corrections. The response was subtle. No alarms, no shutdowns, just conversations. Chaplain Curlin spoke with families about discretion as care. DFMWR adjusted signage. Directorate of Emergency Services increased friendly presence. JB released a short OPSEC reminder, plain language, no acronyms. Jesse watched it unfold with awe. "This is what right looks like," JB told her quietly. "No one feels accused. Everyone feels included." By kickoff, Stuttgart was calm. The game played. Cheers echoed. Life continued. And somewhere, a journalist changed their angle. Epilogue. After the whistle. The morning after the Super Bowl, snow dusted the barracks. Jesse stood outside, breathing in cold air. She thought about noise. It had prevented one from ever forming. JB passed by, coffee in hand. "You did good this weekend," he said. Jesse smiled. "I mostly watched football." JB chuckled. "Exactly." Behind them, USAG Stuttgart woke up quietly, ready for whatever came next. Subscribe to our Secure Narratives YouTube channel. Share or hit us with a like and watch our new uploads. Also, if you have other suggestions or ideas or are interested in a personalized name drop or your work center's inclusion to our tales, don't hold back. Send a quick note or use the interactive customer evaluation system to share your thoughts. We're all ears and ready to make things even better. So until next Monday's OPSEC Minute Extended. Keep those comments coming and stay engaged.